Hey there, I'm your host, the Bread Pirate, and today we're going to be doing a 100% run on Applewood. This is a commentated run, and we'll also be having a list of important parts of the game for certain objectives and achievements and collectibles in the description below and in the comment section for anybody that needs help with that. For instance, we're going to be having a list of where you can find each and every single wooden totem. We'll be having a list of where you can find each Heartomato, each hat. Not for each golden berry, that's too much. I think there's like over 500 of them in the game. But yeah, we're going to be making sure that this run is here to help you in completing the game. This is a commentated run, so we are going to be having a little bit of dialogue here and there about little tips, tricks, and trivia about Applewood. But we're going to be skipping most of the dialogue because this game does have like 9 to 10 hours worth of gameplay if we read every single bit of dialogue, so we're not going to do that. And with that, welcome to Applewood. This is our protagonist. His name is Ringo. Kind of reminds me of the, what is that Western movie with the snake and the lizard? I don't remember what it is. But yeah, the whole purpose behind Ringo, or the whole idea behind him, is that he is an imp that lives in the forest with a large amount of his friends. No idea how they got together, no idea why he's an imp. Actually, one of the reviews for this game thought that Ringo was a gray cat with red wings. That's literally how they described them, even though Ringo is very clearly described to be an imp at parts of the game. I suppose that person didn't read or play through the entire game. Nevertheless, this is Ringo, and this is the village. We're not going to be doing all that much dialogue, as I already mentioned, but I do want to talk to at least a few people. This guy in particular. This is Al Pacone. He's a bit of a snake water salesman, or at least he seems like it. He says a lot of sketchy things, so the impression is that he's not necessarily the most genuine person. And yes, so with that, that is our introduction to the quest to find every single golden berry in the game, which, when I was recording this, made me incredibly paranoid. But yeah, this is the shop where you buy all of your items. We aren't buying anything right now, but I thought I would show you all these things. There's 3 of them there: Heartomato, Hat, and Wooden Totem. And those are the 3 major collectibles in the game, so it's kind of convenient that we stopped in there. We get to see, you know, each and everything that we're going to be focusing on in this quest. Here is Octavian. He's a little bit like your parental figure in the game, but he's also your best friend. He's an octopus of great wisdom. He also is an octopus of a very big appetite, and the whole purpose right here is that we're supposed to be finding an apple that we can bring to him, which we give to him. Anywho, after giving him an apple to eat, he gives us some passage over this little waterway here that allows us to pull the lever, and then we can proceed into the forest, in which we're going to be trying to investigate the loud sound that we heard at the beginning of the game that woke us up. So legitimately, you could argue that this entire adventure starts because Ringo is grumpy that he was woken up when he was sleeping, which I'm okay with that narrative. I kind of like it. Uh-oh, that's some messy footwork there, Ringo. You gotta work on your parkour. Yep, apples will rejuvenate health if you ever get damaged. I think I actually get damaged quite a few times throughout this playthrough. I didn't do a very good job at it. I am not a speedrunner. I am not a pro gamer. But I could tell you I am a YouTuber. I think this would be what you would consider the very first puzzle in the game. It's not much, but it's something. There's actually a little, I don't know if you'd call this secret even, but you'll see right there on the wall, it has that symbol with the apple on it. You're supposed to throw the apple there. I'm sure a lot of people similar to me didn't do that their first time playing. They probably just hovered down with the apple, but that is what the symbol there is supposed to indicate. It's not entirely clear. That's kind of the puzzle, figuring out what it's trying to say. I think it works, because either way, you are able to get the apple down and use it for the puzzle to press the pressure plate. Right, so this is Bushdarter territory, which means that it's a part of the forest where the people known as Bushdarters live. They're an underground race that's native to the Applewood area, but isn't very friendly right at this moment. They're under the impression that the loud noise is an enemy intruder. They're very militaristic, and they're running their society in a very kind of no-nonsense type of way. Don't want to take any chances after all. And that's why they're attacking Ringo. But there's a number of ways that you can take them down. Of course, without killing them. Killing people that's horrible. We wouldn't want to do that. But we can, use a few things to our advantage. So this is a bit of a detour on our quest to find out the source of the loud noise. It wasn't the Bushdarters, but by helping the Bushdarters out, we are going to be able to unlock a different, a few things actually, for that matter. We'll be able to more easily get around the world because we'll unlock our fast travel that way. And we'll also have an easier time going through the tunnel system later in the playthrough. Not much later, it's only a few minutes, maybe 20 minutes later down the road, but it is enough that it is helpful. Yep, all those gold berries are gonna make me so paranoid. The fact that there's so many golden berries in this game. I think another thing which makes me a little bit paranoid, and I actually would, I would say that this is probably not one of my favorite parts about the game, is the fact that there's a very odd number of golden berries in total. It's not a round number like 600 or 500, it's a very weird number. But yeah, right here we're going to be getting our first hat, the Bushdarter hat. So now we can dress as a Bushdarter. I am honestly shocked I managed to make that jump first try, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. Oh, welcome to our very first boss fight. It's a very simple boss fight, there's not much to it. You simply have to find the orange darter and damage him. Same way you've been damaging everyone else, you know, making them run into each other's darts, dropping them in water, throwing them into each other or into the bushes. There's honestly so many ways that you can be creative in getting rid of these guys. Anywho, you have a conversation with him, and after talking for a short while, you soon discover that they aren't really aware of what's happening. They just thought that you might be an intruder. So they opened fire. Thankfully, we aren't the intruder, and they gave us a secret entrance back to where we were before. That was a bit of an experiment. He drops an explosive there after telling you that he's very careful with explosives, and it's meant to be a joke of sorts. I think it's funny, but I accidentally grabbed it, and I freaked out super hard. I'm sure that flustered me enough to the point that I ended up killing myself there. Unfortunate, but it's only a minor setback. So for this part, after I died, we actually teleported back for a little bit. Not in time, but in location, and we're going up. We didn't do this last time. We're going to be going up from where we were last time, so that we can get to someone known as a Slug Buddy. Or, no, I'm sorry, Balloon Buddy, who is a slug. Balloon Buddy is an awesome character, and one of my theories is that the creator of the game, Garrett Thompson, perhaps reflected himself a little bit in Slug Buddy, but that's just a theory. I'm not entirely sure of it. The reason I say that is because at the very beginning of the game, like the first time you start your game, not after you have other save files, like the first save file you start, you'll have a bit of a tutorial to get antiquated with the way that the controls work. And Slug Buddy is the one who helps you through that process. And my theory is that from the comments that you hear through the dialogue that Slug Buddy gives you when he's trying to describe, you know, how controls work, that he is sort of acting as the developer in that situation. He has a comment where he says something along the lines of, "I hope you enjoy the game," and it sounds very characteristic of Garrett Thompson. That might just be me, though. I'm very curious what he thinks. I want to do an interview with him sometime, and that'll probably be one of my questions. So if you're listening in on this, Garrett, get ready. The town that we're in right now is Kapaisi Town. Kapaisi means to burn away part of the forest. I'm actually going to double check that. Yes, it's, Kapaisi is a tradition. I'm reading this directly from Google. Kapaising is the traditional method of woodland management, which exploits the capacity of many species of trees to put out new shoots from their stumps or roots, blah, blah, blah. Anywho, yeah, a lot of the names and words in this game are references to other things in pop culture, or actually into, mythology, the mythology of, different cultures. And we'll be getting into that a little bit more as we go through the game. Yeah, so I already explained this, but I'll go on explaining this again. Slug Buddy, right here. If we talk to him, that'll give us the ability to fast travel to anywhere we want to. We only have one other place we can go, Sapling Town, but soon that'll change. So for this section of the game, this actually is a location where normally you would be ambushed by, I think there's almost a dozen Bushdarters in this cave, normally. But thankfully, because we completed that little detour earlier, the Bushdarters are non-hostile, so we can actually talk to them and they have dialogue. Each of them has custom dialogue that you can have with them. That's your first Heartomato. Gave us another heart. I should apologize, I guess while it's still on my mind, about the quality of the video. Because it's such a long video, I only recorded at 30 frames per second and at 720 pixels. For anyone who's not a tech junkie and that doesn't understand that, then, you know, don't worry about it. It just means it comes in a little bit more blurry, but it's hardly noticeable. The game does run at 1080p if you want. 30 frames per second, not really a thing. It's a pixel game. It doesn't worry about that. 30 frames per second is, I think, a fair representation. Maybe the game runs at 45. You know what? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not a super tech junkie myself. We have a choice here. We could either go to the right or we could go down. We have to go down if we want to complete the quest, but if we go right, then there's a little bit of exploration we could do before we reach a dead end. Oh, so what I'm doing here, probably doesn't interest any of you, was I'm trying to get that top apple. The apple at the top of that tree is probably one of the hardest apples to eat in the entire game because you have to make such a long jump. It's like a self-challenge I gave myself to try and get to it. I made it once. This is our second boss fight. This is the first mandatory boss fight, and it is with a character known as Malik. Malik. It's probably not hard to see. It's probably not hard to see where that name came from. If he's evil, Mal. Mal is bad in Spanish. Probably in a few other languages. We got stupid lucky there. It turned out that he dropped one of the pine cones on himself accidentally, which ended up damaging him. That I've never seen before. I don't know if that's intentional. Probably isn't. Probably isn't. But the way you're supposed to do this is you're supposed to throw apples at him by throwing it up to that platform, and then as he's joking about there, yeah, just bash him with the apple. It's a very simple boss fight, and it reminds me a lot of Kirby. The tree that we're fighting next to is known as the I'm gonna probably say this wrong, the Yggdrasil, or Yggdrapple tree. It's the Yggdrapple tree, yes. And the Yggdrapple tree is the source of all apples in Applewood. It reminds me of the Kirby tree fight, though. Because, you know, it's a giant tree to the right of the screen. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like the fight went all that well. But thankfully, Ringo is still alive. We have that going for ourselves. The one thing that I found really interesting during my research for this commentary is that the Yggdrapple tree is actually a reference to a real-life tree that existed in Norse mythology, called the Yggdrasil tree, which is this just giant tree, which is like the center of the universe, which is kind of interesting that they're connecting all of these older mythologies and real-world cultures to the game. Yeah, so now that the forest got burnt down, you'll notice that anywhere there previously was a apple bush, I don't know why they're bushes, but anywhere there previously was an apple bush, there's now just a charred stump, because none of the apples can survive without the Yggdrapple tree. So everyone is freaking out. People are asking what they should do. Should we run out of town? Should we work together to try and find another solution? Everyone's freaking out. Ringo's house got burnt down at the fire, and right now, I guess it's mail hour. There's actually 3 different items that the mailbird arrives with. First one is for the character known as Tanuki, which, yes, is a reference to Tanuki from Mario. Ringo gets one from Malik, the person we were just fighting. And then Alfred, which is obviously a reference to the name Alfred, also got a little piece of mail, which is not little, it's giant. It's a stone tablet with a map on it. A map which leads to the top of Mount Durian. Alfred is the only person in the village that can read, by the way, so he has to be the one that translates it. At this point, everyone's like, oh well, I guess there's nothing we could do. And then there's a little bit of sappy dialogue about how everyone is going to eat each other, and then Ringo's like, fine, I'm gonna go to the top of Mount Durian, because at the top of Mount Durian apparently is the first apple tree. Or at least the source of all apple trees, as I think they believe right now, where they can get an apple seed. And getting a Yggdrapple seed will allow them to, you know, get new apples. Yay, that's what we all need. I decided to talk to Octavian here, even though I didn't know if it was mandatory or not, because I don't know for certain if he'll go to the next objective if you don't talk to him. So it's probably a good thing we did talk to him, because I'm guessing he wouldn't be at the next objective. We're gonna take advantage of that fast travel. Get to Applewood Lake. Ah, I love that sound effect. Here, we are going to be getting another totem. Again, I made it on my first try. Have zero clue how I managed to do that. This is the Bushdarter trophy. It actually has a little bit of information about Bushdarters. All the trophies that you get do, which is, I think, fantastic because it establishes a bit of a lore around the game that you wouldn't know otherwise. Yep, so we're shipping out with Octavian now. He gave us an apple. Keep that apple in mind. Later in the playthrough, it comes up. and of course, Octavian can't go up a mountain. He's an octopus, which is just amazing writing, I think, on the part of the creator. I should be skipping through this dialogue a little bit faster, but this dialogue is essentially Octavian saying, you know what, good luck, be safe. There's a creepy guy in this shack that's at this lake that you could talk to. And that creepy guy is this one on the bucket. He doesn't have a name in game. The only thing we know him as is the gnomish fisherman. That's the name for him on his trophy. He has a wooden totem for himself. He's kind of like the fisherman from Jaws. You know, the crazy one that like scratches the chalkboard. He's a little bit deranged, it seems, but actually he's really quite sane. He's quite sane, despite the appearance. He has a robot that we need to repair, and with that robot, we'll be able to get through the darkness that has been haunting this land. Here's another trophy. And this one is of Malik, which is really surprising, actually, that we were able to get it this soon. Yeah, so there's a lot of just circling around. This is a puzzle that we're about to do, which is very similar to the... I hope you guys have played Twilight Princess. If you haven't, then you're not going to get this. Very similar to the Twilight Palace hand mission, where you have to transport the orb of light through the entire temple without it being grabbed by this giant hand that is following you the entire time. Except in this situation, we're trying to get a cog through this maze without the ghosts stopping us. They'll try and grab it, they'll try and hurt us. Thankfully, if they're in the light too long, then it damages them. And this is an introduction to a mechanic that's going to become very prevalent. Lots of close calls and lots of sloppy gameplay there. I'm sure if you're playing this that you'll be able to do way better than me right then. Thankfully, it was my first try, though. This is the other collectible I forgot to mention. These berries, actually there's not just berries, they're fruits that you'll find throughout the game. They are needed for a secret location in Applewood that you can access. This is awful parkour, I'm sorry you have to see this. Ringo wasn't on his A game today. It's also a really tough spot of parkour. It does take quite a bit of getting used to. Vines in this game are not very forgiving, unfortunately. But yeah, on the topic of the fruits, there are 3 different fruits that we need to collect. The berries right there are the first one. The second one are melons, and the third ones are durians, which is the name of the mountain that we're going to be going to. And you'll notice that this place is called Blackberry Swamp. We just collected blackberries. Durian Mountain has a durian fruit at it. I can't remember the name of the mines that we have to go through, but let me check, actually. I might be able to find out. Nope. Yep, I did find it. It's a Cantaloupe Caverns. The Cantaloupe Caverns are the other fruit that we have to go find in the other place. I hope you guys like ghosts, because there's actually quite a lot of ghosts in this game. There's another dungeon in the game which is entirely dedicated to more ghosts chasing. Yes, this is my favorite hat in the game. I love it. He knew. Garrett knew. Garrett knew that I needed this. He probably doesn't know me, but he knew that this was needed in the game. Pirate hats. More games should have them. Oh, whoopsies. Yeah, let's go. Oh, no, back, Ringo. Go back. There you go. Nice job, buddy. The parkour to get this Heartomato is quite difficult, and like many parts of the 100% run here, not super forgiving. Fair, but not forgiving, you know? Like, I could have easily game overed there. Thankfully, the game overs are forgiving. Game overs in this game are very, very merciful. If you're going through this game without 100% completing it, no problem. You could easily complete this game. The ending might give you a little bit of trouble, but for the most part, you'll be able to do it. Swamp Bot. That's the name for it, Swamp Bot. So if you remember earlier, we had a ghost puzzle where we had to destroy the ghosts. Now we're going to be doing that, but with a robot. And surprise, surprise, this is something that's going to come up later. Even after we get out of Blackberry Swamp, this is a mechanic we're going to be utilizing at least once more. Thankfully, it's a very fun mechanic. For myself, it was. I really enjoyed this mechanic. You'll notice that there is a secret location up here. This is what leads us to the Ghost Quartet. The scariest puzzle in the game and potentially the hardest. So unfortunately, that wasn't how it was supposed to sound. There was a little bit of a missed in translation, I guess, composing going on here. Needless to say, their director isn't very good. But they're asking you for help. They want you to create sheet music for them using these note blocks. So after listening to these guys, you need to copy it by matching it on these bars. And it's going to be a long process, so we're going to be doing a little bit of editing magic, but for this one I want to at least show you a little bit of the process for how this works. You'll notice that every time I set the block down, it colorizes the screen. For instance, right there, it colorized it green. Now it's blue. Now it's blue again. It's a different shade of blue, you know? When the ghosts sing, they also sing in colored tones. There's tones to the screen when they sing, and you can use that if you're, tone deaf to figure out where they need to go, if you're more visual. If you're tone deaf and colorblind, yeah, we can't help you. Just follow this. Just watch this guide. It'll help you out. Now that was music. Welcome back to Darkness, my old friend. The quest goes on to save the swamp. Now Ringo, that was some fancy footwork right there. I really like how you did that. Yep, so after Ringo finished up there, we get to move on. One last door. And we will finally be, yep, at the boss arena. This boss is not, he's not hard. But he is a boss that requires your brains. Before we fight the boss, actually, we have to talk with Malik for a little bit. He's just mocking us, showing off his power. He's like, ha, I got cool powers, you don't. You're a weirdo that has friends. Friends, those are useless. That's what he says. Then he summons the boss by alerting him to your location. Notice the pirate in the bottom right. Pirate pride. Wear that hat. You go, boy. So for this section, we meet, I do not remember his name. I just call him Count Black because he reminds me of Count Black from Paper Mario. I'll pull up his name, his actual name here for reference. His name is CR Terror. I don't know what pun that is. There's a pun there probably. CR Terror. You guys are probably gonna hear it, but yes, he is a game show host here in Blackberry Lake. And he's gonna play a few games with you if you want, where you just have to basically shine your light at various objects in order to choose when you roll a die, or pick a card, or something else. Every time that he wins, which he always does, then he is going to take one little blip of your life away. But he always wins, so the way to win this is to not play his games. You just have to attack him directly. So yeah, this is actually a dialogue boss fight, which is fantastic. It's just incredible. You never see this in video games, but it's just a boss fight where you have to think outside the box in order to take down the villain, rather than have skills in a, you know, typical duke it out boss fight. And that works perfect for this villain, because this villain really isn't a fighter. He's a coward at heart that just wants to rip people off. And that's how it goes. If you're not clever enough to actually flash him with the light, then he will eventually kill you. So, welcome to Cantaloupe Caverns. This is a series of mines that go underneath Mount Durian, the mountain we're trying to get to the top of. We have to deal with a lot of different things in this part of the game. There's a lot of elements mixed in. For instance, we have the gears making a comeback, which are used primarily for pressing down pressure plates. But we also have these new types of pressure plates, which are energy-based. You need an energy source in order to keep them pressed. Those can be powered either by Ringo, or they can be powered by these interesting electrical apples that we now have. Later on, we also get to deal with robots, you know, robots with explosives that they're going to try and throw at us. They're not all that hard to avoid, but when they're in mass numbers, then things get a little bit tricky. So the totem that we're trying to get here is of CR Terror. This is honestly a surprisingly easy puzzle. There's not much to it, but it is a good introduction into explosives. We saw them a little bit earlier, back when we first finished with the Bushdarters. But now we're actually going to be using them, unlike what I accidentally did back when we first got them. As you can see, they're just kind of timed explosives. You have to throw them as fast as possible, otherwise they go boom boom. Boom boom, no good good. We don't like that. For this part of the game, you're going to need to jump down. It's sketchy, I know, but just trust. We're going to be doing this puzzle 2 times. One time we're going to be doing it to get all of the golden berries, and then we're going to reset the puzzle so that we can get the apple that we need. For this part of the game, there's a little bit of backtracking that we need to do in order to get 3 different apples that we can use to power the generators in this facility. Once the generators are powered, then an elevator is activated, which allows us to get to the next area. The next area of the caverns, I should say. It actually doesn't finish the caverns completely. By the way, I've tried testing it. I don't think it's possible to get trapped in that location. If you do, you could just, close the game, turn it back on. But with clever parkour, I'm sure you can get out of it. There's not a lot of dialogue in Cantaloupe Caverns, or for that matter, there's not any dialogue. Aside from, I think, right before the boss, where you need to talk with anybody. There are a few books here and there, and there's some stone tablets which can be sort of a substitute by giving you lore about the location. Most of it is pretty cryptic at this point. Until we've finished the game, it's not going to make complete sense what all of these books are talking about. Yeah, for instance, this one is telling us about the electricity there. That actually is just part of a puzzle, that's not a lore book. But if it was a lore book, then yeah, that'd be pretty confusing. It's interesting to note that Ringo works as a power source. He's not electrical, I don't think, which makes it quite curious. I feel like that's material for a fan theory right there. Why can Ringo be a power source? I would call this more of a mini-boss than anything. You actually run into this guy quite a lot after this. This part reminds me a lot of the Bushdarter section, because instead of Bushdarters, it's robots, but you still are dealing with enemies and you have to find creative ways of getting rid of them. On the other hand, you can completely ignore the robots and just go on playing normally, pretending that they're obstacles instead of entities. It's your prerogative. Thankfully, there were no golden berries in that direction, which is a blessing from God, honestly. I did not think that there were any down there, but if there were, that would have been a miserable amount of backtracking. Here we are, we get our name brand cantaloupes. Those are always good. I'll admit, I'm actually more of a cantaloupe person than I am a watermelon person. I really like cantaloupe. It's got a fun quality about it. If you couldn't already tell, I'm not a speedrunner. I'm trying. Not really. On the matter of speedrunning, there is no world record currently for the 100% or the 100% Goldenberry run. Well, those are... It would be full collectible run or full collectible and Goldenberry run. The Steam webpage has a different name for all of the achievements in the game. The completion of Applewood for your first time is called the Super Expert Run. The completion of getting all the collectibles, not including Goldenberries, is called the 100% run. Ironically, though, there's a further 100%, which is the Golden 100% by getting all the Goldenberries. Getting every single Goldenberry in the game doesn't have any benefit aside from a little bit of extra dialogue that you get to hear from Al Capone. Again, I'm sorry we're skipping through this dialogue so fast. It's kind of interesting. Every time you talk to Malik, he'll give you a little insight into what the boss fight against him is going to be like by showing off another one of his abilities. Last time it was teleportation. This time it was his laser beams, which are things that are going to return. I'll need to warn you, this is a very sloppy boss fight. Awful performance on my part. It does get the point across, though, about how to complete the boss. Make sure to note that the bombs, they diffuse when you throw them into the water. So if you want to, you can use that a little bit to your advantage. I didn't find any way of using it to my advantage, unfortunately. I just kind of wasted them. Each hand will have two supposed hit points. And with that, we have completed Cantaloupe Caverns. We have collected all the golden berries, all the items in there. Thank the Lord. Yes, this is a pretty tricky part of the game to 100% complete because of all the secrets in it. Not as hard as the next one, unfortunately. Welcome to, I don't know what you call it, Mountaintopia? Durian Mountain. It's called Durian Mountain. Yes. This is a location with a lot of parkour, not a lot of puzzles. It depends on the path you take. There's 2 different paths you're able to take. That thing we just activated, you're going to need to activate several of them. They're scattered throughout this region in order to unlock the secret dungeon, which we're going to be doing a little bit later. The Path of Aura and the Path of Iman. Yeah, so if we take the Path of Aura, then we go through a little bit more parkour, and we have to deal with bird enemies. If we take the Path of Iman, then we have to deal with more puzzles, and we have to deal with snakes. Right here is a pit of death. If you jump down it, it'll take you to the other path that we chose not to go on. It's a bit of a shortcut, and it also has a secret along the way. We're going to be doing that later. We're going to be backtracking towards that. So that was how you complete the path of Aura. Now we're going to be completing the path of Eman by going back. Thank you for bearing with me. I've actually been neglecting my responsibilities with narrating because I've been doing a little bit of research. It turns out that Applewood's characters in this part of the game have a strange connection to a very obscure religion called Zoroastrianism, which is the oldest practiced religion in the world today. I don't know why, but it's very similar to the connection with the Yggdrasil tree, with the Yggdrasil tree, or whatever the name was, yeah. Zoroastrianism. So Aura is a name which is very closely related to Wise Lord, which is the supreme being in this religion. Eman is a much more closely related name to the god of destruction, or the force of destruction which exists in this religion. I have to do a little bit of searching here. Yes, so Eman is the second part of the name Oriman, which is a development of the god known as Ingra Minyu. Crike, I can't, these names. Okay, let me explain this. So in the soundtrack for the game, there are 3 different songs related to the characters that we're about to meet, which are like deities that protect this mountain. The first song is known as Spenta. That is related to the good god. The second one is known as Angra. That's related to the evil one. And then the third one, the third soundtrack, is called Mazda, and that's the song for the battle between the two. Spenta is the same name as the god of creative spirit and mentality, while Angra is related to destructive spirit and mentality. So when you're having that battle, Mazda is the name of the Supreme Lord. So it's kind of inferring that when they're together, there's like a balance in place, and that creates the wise nature of the universe. I don't honestly know entirely, but it's a really interesting connection, and I think you guys should do some research into it. If you have a chance and you're interested in history, that is. But yes, we're taking the Eman route right here. As you can see, lots of mazes, lots of tunnels. Tunnel snakes rule! Fallout references for days, boys. So we have now completed the first stretch of the mountain. You could almost consider it to be its own biome. I think that's a little bit generous. I think it's simply the warm-up area. It's a warm-up zone. Yeah, there wasn't really a purpose for that, but I'm not going to edit it out because it kind of shows you how the wind mechanic works. Wind will blow objects like those. It'll allow Ringo to move farther. Yeah, vegetables get eaten by snakes and birds. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. We don't want that happening. So now we're going to try out the split path from earlier. This is, again, part of that backtracking. We have to get the statue here. And, yeah, that was it there. I'm going to skip ahead to when we get back. In my playthrough of the game, this was my last trophy that I got because I missed it. And it was very hard to find. It was very hard to find, along with all the golden berries in this location. We do a little cheat sheet here. Gesundheit. Yeah, we did a little cheat sheet there. That's not how you're supposed to do it, but ha, take that. I'll do what I want. No, but seriously, we are going to be showing you how to properly do it as well. So ideally, what will happen is the apple will be blown to the left after you open the doorway. We already moved it. We don't need to worry about that. Here's our next hat. This is a race course. I'm gonna skip to the part where I do it successfully though. Now we are on a quest to create the perfect soup. And I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a perfect soup, all right. I'm gonna just damage blast through that. Yep. Because we don't care about our health, do we? Man, you gotta appreciate those vegetables. They just look so happy all the time. It's a shame what's gonna happen to them. We're about to do another sneaky maneuver here. If you are careful with the way that you place your onion, you could actually get them to be right next to the door, which will make this a lot easier. Let's see, do I make it first try? That I do. So if you got your onion like that, then when you hit this little target, well, okay, we gotta do our jumps better, Ringo. Next time, this time. Then yeah, you just grab it on your way up. Oh my gosh, that was such a close one. Oh, that would have sucked to miss that berry. I would have never found it. I am slowing down with skipping dialogue in this section, but he is explaining the snakes, or serpents, I guess, that live on the mountain. One of them is a snake, ironically, the other one is a bird serpent. I haven't heard of a lot of bird serpents, more like a dragon, but yeah. Each of them controls separately their part of the mountain. Yay, we did it. And I believe that is the last statue we need to activate. So when we get to the top of the mountain, we should be able to find the secret temple, which we are going to be doing right before we do the final boss. I'm struggling here. Alright, I'm dying here. Cool. But I guess this is a good time to show you how soup works. Yeah, that's how soup works. It's just a revive. And it makes you better at parkour, apparently. That's a joke, by the way. Don't take that seriously. Don't misquote me. That's Eamon, and that's Aura. Here's the secret temple for future reference. Yep. We are not going to be doing it yet, though. Nope, not going to do it yet. We're going to be completing the rest of the game first. Aside from the final boss. Yes. Yeah, we're zooming through some dialogue. Basically, Malik just said that, hey, there's these two serpents. We're gonna make them fight each other. And then whoever wins gets to go through the door because each of them has a key to get through the door, apparently. And supposedly, if we help them out with attacking each other, then, you know, they'll give us access to the door. Malik is, of course, sure that he's going to win because he has magic on his side. But I wouldn't be so sure. And so we begin the boss fight. I failed my first time doing this, so I'm gonna skip to the successful fight. So for this fight, your goal is to go after Malik first. Because Malik is, he's a support unit, but he's a very effective support unit. He'll block all the projectiles that your friendly deity will use. I didn't mention this earlier, but you can choose whichever deity you want as your champion. I've only ever used Aura. I've never used Iman. No particular reason aside from it's just kind of ended up being that way. Yeah, your goal is going to be to stop all the projectiles that Eamon is throwing at Aura, and you're going to want to stop Malik from doing things. Yeah, like that projectile? That's a no-no. I missed it, unfortunately, but yeah. Yeah, that attack is a little bit devastating, at the least to say. You want to stop Malik before he uses it, or distract him, or destroy his thing that he has there. I don't think I had seen it before this fight, so I never had worried about it. But now I do worry about it. Yay! So after you destroy all of Malik's little hearts, then you can basically rule the fight. Just keep throwing things at Eamon and make sure that that green slime ball does not hit Aura. It might be tempting to use vegetables this entire fight. Don't. The problem with vegetables is, I mean, aside from the fact that Malik is going to try and stop you from using them, is that your bird companions on Aura's side are going to try and eat them. So although vegetables do more damage, you just don't. Surprise, surprise! The plot twist here is that each of them only owns one half of the key. So because each of them only owns one half, we can't get through the doorway still. Whoop-de-stinkin'-doo. It's okay though, because there is a way of fixing this. It's gonna involve talking to our enemies, E-Man, specifically. But don't worry, we got it. We got this covered. Before we go on, we're gonna do a little bit of something secret. I say secret because this is the thing we weren't talking about the whole time up until now. We're gonna be coming to Cromwell Farm. So in Cromwell Farm, this is where you take all the seeds that you've collected from all the other locations in the game. There's only 3 types of seeds, and they each correspond to the 3 areas that we went to. Mount Durian, that's a durian that we're planting, Blackberry Swamp, and Cantaloupe Caverns. So see, after we came back here, cantaloupes and durians have been planted. Then we put the last one down there, and we have a full garden. We're gonna buy this Heartomato now. Mostly because I am completely freaked out by the fact that we're going to be doing the final dungeon and it's ridiculously hard. Not the final dungeon, but the secret dungeon. The secret dungeon is meant to be a death gauntlet. It's meant to be the hardest challenge in the game. And hardest challenge it most definitely will be. So anyways, yeah, we gave him some soup, and he was like, you know what, kid? I don't like you, but I respect you. Here, have the key. And he gives it to us because, well, he doesn't really care about protecting it anymore. He doesn't care about protecting the garden that they've been protecting this whole time. And yes, I really didn't explain that very well, but on the other side of that door we're trying to open with these keys is the very first apple tree. The apple tree which is going to be used in order to save the village. I am very curious what the purpose of these rock formations is, because there's nothing over there. We are now going to be doing the Dungeon of Doom that we've been talking about this entire time. No idea what this dungeon is called, but it has the last totem that we need, it has the last batch of golden berries we need, and it has the last Heartomato. So if you want to 100% complete the game, you need to do this dungeon. And it's a tough dungeon. There's a lot of ghosts that you have to deal with. They have the creepy masks on, so I guess that's a downside as well. If you die at all in this dungeon, it is a hard death. Everything that you've done up to this point in the dungeon gets reset. So you have to be good. You have to be good the first time. Not really. This is actually my second run through. But yeah, off camera I also got some of the soup. I don't remember if I ended up needing it or not. But anywho, if you guys are having a lot of trouble with this dungeon, there's a pro tip for you I found out. When you exit this dungeon, if you just randomly exit the dungeon at any point, then it will teleport you to the outside with all your hearts when you log back in. And what's really convenient about that is it doesn't delete your progress because you never died, you just logged off. So if you want to, you can use that as a way of sort of making it easier for yourself. I don't do that in this. We're doing a legitimate gauntlet run through. Now this part is particularly hard, so I'm going to cut to the part where I successfully do it. It's not this time, I'll guarantee you that. And welcome to the boss room. If you were at all disappointed that CR Terror wasn't a decent boss by any means, if you're one of those people that didn't think it was a decent boss, yeah, this will make up for it. This ends up being a real boss. It's a good thing we have soup, am I right? And with that, we have collected every single golden berry in the game, and every single Heartomato. The only two things we have left to finish up are hats and trophies. Now this is the part that kind of bugs me. The final amount of golden berries in the game is 59. And it's like, that's a weird number. But yeah, after you buy everything in the shop, it's 59. I don't know why, but I guess we're gonna live with that. After you have to donate the rest. You don't get anything for that. But when you come out here, you'll notice all the chickens are nice and round, nice and plump, ready for Thanksgiving. I know, turkeys, chickens are different, but deal with it. Deal with it. We're gonna be talking to Al Pacone one last time here. If you take the hat off, then you'll get the final dialogue I was talking about. Okay, never mind. You have to go into the house, you come out, then you talk to him. Nope, never mind. That's another piece of scripted dialogue. We have to go into the house, come out of the house, and then talk to him. There we go. And that's it. We have done everything that needs to be done. Oh, no, I lied. We collected all the wood carvings. Now it's time to talk to Tammy Nuki. And we get a little bit of custom dialogue here as well. And so we have our house back. We have all the hats. We have all the Heartomatos. All the wooden totems that we found got turned into the house. But we have a house. It's pretty cool. And you could also open and close the blinds. Honestly, the fact that we have the house is pretty cool. You can't really use it for anything because at this point in the game you've done everything. So it's a little bit late. I still like it though. There's only one thing left to do, and that is to complete the game. So this is kind of strange. This is the bucket. It is the only time we ever see the bucket item in the game. A very little explanation for why it's there or what it does. But we're going to be using this to water a plant. The way that it works is whenever you throw it sideways, then it will fall over. And if you throw it straight up or straight down, then it will stay straight up or straight down. And by utilizing this mechanic, we are able to water this plant. And this right here is when things start to get funky. So for anyone curious, yeah, it turns out that there isn't a real apple tree. It turns out that it's a computerized apple tree of sorts that is creating apples. It's very strange, but after being hacked into, this Apple computer decides, hey, I need your help, get over here. And you have to go inside of the system to try and save the day. You'll notice as we're going through this that various parts of this boss area are very reminiscent of areas we've already been to. This one, for instance, is similar to that first puzzle that we did, where we had to get the apple, to Octavian so we could use that as a pressure plate. Even that strategy where you throw the apple down, yep, still works. Now this is about to be a really tough boss fight. And if you end up using your soup here, this is not a bad time to use it. And this, my friends, is the final boss fight. The music for this section of the game is called amygdalin, and amygdalin literally means a naturally occurring chemical compound that used to be thought of as a cure for cancer. It turned out that it was not a cure for cancer and that it was false. Take with that what you will. I like to think that he's telling us a message about this assassin. And that, my friends, is Applewood. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought that it was an absolute joy to play through this game. Garrett Thompson really outdid himself with it. There is a little bit left to the game, if you'll notice by looking at the timeline on the YouTube. There's a small after section, a little after party that we get to see. I'm not going to be showing all the dialogue surrounding that, but we're going to at least talk to Al Pacone because we've been talking to him the whole time. I think we ought to give him one last shot. You'll notice in the curtain call that there are two characters that were unfortunately left out. Pressing Rock, who we only saw for a brief minute, and Malik, actually. And so, welcome to the party. Yep, everyone's here. All the characters that you interacted with from before. And they're all here to just celebrate with you. Thank you for watching to the end. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe or like or any of that because honestly I could care less. But I hope you guys have a nice day. Godspeed and have fun storming the castle.